So guys, feel free to ask questions. Nortia, if I could ask you to read it out loud, so I can use the video for later use. So people who's gonna watch it later on will know what's the question.
I see one question coming in about the tuition fees, whether there's a possibility to take it in installments. That's definitely possible. You can either pay it in full or you pay it in 9 installments. If you decide to choose for the installments, you pay an additional 24 euros administration cost, and the first installment will be end of September. Another question is about the double degree. Do you want to apply for it in advance or can you decide later? You decide later. So if you want to be eligible for the double degree, you decide more or less halfway through the second year, end of the second year. You will be selected, or you will have to be selected for the double degree places because there's limited places available, and you will be selected based on your academic performance in the first 2 years and also your language skills. So let's say if you want to do the double degree in Mexico, you will have to have sufficient proficiency in Spanish next to good academic grades to be selected for that option, but you can only decide while you're in the program. Another question is about sport facilities at the university. We have shared sport facilities with another university based in Breda. So it means that as a student, you can get sports subscription for 100 euros a year, and you have unlimited access to all the facilities. And this sports organization is called BRES, and they team up with all the sports associations in the city. So if you take an interest in swimming or tennis or hockey or football or whatever it is that you would like to pursue, if they don't offer it on site, they can definitely connect you with the right association to carry on with your preferred type of sports.
Oh, maybe I can ask meanwhile. Nortia, you were mentioning like that you were or that you are the best applied science university, 11th year in a row. What do they take in consideration when providing with such award?
So the ranking committee, they look at the quality of the course content. So how up to date is it? How relevant is it for the professional field? What is the quality of the teaching staff? What is the quality of the facilities on campus? And more importantly, they also do a 360 feedback survey with current students about their experience in the university, with the graduates, how they experienced their time in the university, and also how well prepared they felt for their job in the professional field. And this is corroborated with feedback from the employers. So the companies that hired AVANS graduates, they also give feedback saying, okay, these students really live up to the standards of our organization or the professional field. They have up-to-date knowledge. I see an email or a question coming in about the acceptance and when it will come in. It's a good question. It varies from applicant to applicant. There are 2 emails that you want to look out for. One is the conditional letter of acceptance. That is actually the email that confirms that the documents that you have submitted until then give us the indication that you do meet the admission requirements and that you would be eligible to study at AVANS, but that we are waiting for the final document, so final diploma, final grades list. If you have submitted all your documents, so the final ones, and completed all the steps, so the intake and everything that needs to be checked, you will normally get your official acceptance within a week, depending a little bit on the timeline. The closer we are to the deadline, the busier it is with admissions. It can go up to 2 weeks, but they normally send those official letters of acceptance within a week or 2 weeks after you have completed all the steps. And completing all the steps also means that you need to have granted authorization for the payment of your tuition fees in StudyLink.
How fast can students find part-time job in Breda, or how do you pronounce the city?
Pronounce it perfectly. I would say it can be very quickly. I think at the moment there's a very high demand for staff everywhere, and especially in these on-call jobs, in restaurants, in food delivery, in hotels, in bars. The easiest way is to just walk in somewhere and ask, are you seeking staff? Can I apply? Because then they already, see a face to the name. They see you're not shy, or go through other students that already have a job somewhere. They often know that, they're still looking for students. And if you get a recommendation from, someone who's already working there, it also reassures the manager that, you should be a good hire. So I wouldn't worry about it. What I do want to recommend is to, at least in your first quarter, so the first 10 weeks, maybe even the first 2 quarters, settle in a little bit, find your way around the Netherlands, the city, your study load, so that you can really estimate like, okay, how many hours do I have left in a week to actually spend on a part-time job, because otherwise it can be a bit overwhelming if you get everything started at the same time, studying and working.
Yeah, I heard that like you can always try the method door to door with CVs. Sometimes you might be lucky and manage to find a job, but everybody does that. So normally you would go out, try to socialize, build on networking. But do students have an options of doing such network? Like, do you provide them with some options of team building, or do they gather like after school on some like Friday bars or something within the school?
Those gatherings would normally be hosted by student associations, and they would often have like their own like go-to bar or place in the city that they, have their fixed drinks every week or every other week. In terms of networking, there's some activities incorporated within the study programs, but that would be more focused on finding an internship or, getting ready to actually, apply for an internship or a job that is more related to your field of study. But in terms of part-time jobs, I think the easiest way is, to grow to students. And also in the announcement boards in the university, some organizations come in, they hang up, flyers and posters with a QR code, like, scan and sign up, and they get in touch with you
Okay.
to see if you can work for them.
Interesting. Yeah, but I suppose you provide students within the first semester like more space to socialize and to find like comfort within like the new country, to manage to find the accommodation job. So you are not like that hardcore when it comes to exams and studying within first semester. Is that so? Or you go like first week and we go all in?
Well, you will have to do the work. I'm not gonna lie. I think it can be quite intense, especially also already in the first semester. But then there is still more attention for, you settling in and getting used to the pace and getting used to maybe another way of studying and planning. But the course load is equally divided over the year, so you will have. So there are 60 credits to obtain in every year. In the first year, it's important that by the end of it, you have 52. If you have less than 52, you're not allowed to carry on to the next year. You cannot retake the first year, so to say. If you have less than 52, you need to quit. If you have 60, you get your P diploma. If you have a few credits left, you will bring them with you to the next year. So that means in the second year, you have additional credits that you need to gain. So I wouldn't say that the first year is an easy start. Even more so, it's an important year to secure your place in the university, actually. Yeah.
Okay. You mentioned internships. Does all of your study programs have internship options? And
Yeah.
what semester?
So every program has 2 internships, and for one, the graduation internship is the same for every program, so it's the second semester of the 4th year. The other, the first internship that you do varies. For some programs, the business programs most likely tend to have them in year 2, and their semester exchange in year 3. The science and engineering program, they tend to have their work placement and exchange program in year 3, and then in the last semester of year 4. So that's a bit more condensed.
Yeah, most of our students mention that they would like to apply to international business. They are here, and few industrial engineering and management, and few to asset.
So for international business in Breda, it would be your first internship year 2, second semester, exchange program second semester year 3, graduation internship second semester year 4. For environmental science, you do year 3, semester 1 is your exchange. Year 3, semester 2 is an internship. Year 4, second semester is also an internship. And the same goes for industrial engineering.
Good job, you passed. Nice. Well, guys, I hope you managed to write it down because I forgot already. Great, you are ready. We can see that. Can you send us some interns? That's very important question.
Yeah,
We would actually love to welcome them. Like, do they go abroad or is it internship mainly within Netherlands?
No, so a lot of the students choose to go abroad. For international business, there's an additional rule, so to say. So out of those 3 semesters, they need to be abroad at least 2 times. Being in the Netherlands for an international student counts as being abroad. But if, for instance, they want to return to their home country, they can only do it once.
Okay. We have nice discussion, but guys, like if you want to ask something yourself, feel free to write it down in the chat or ask. You were mentioning also something about the exchange program in year 3. Is it like students go somewhere abroad, and do they have to go or can they skip?
No, they cannot skip the exchange program. They don't necessarily have to go abroad, so they can stay in the Netherlands. They can also decide to come back to their home country if there's a collaboration or an agreement with one of the schools between AVANS and one in their home country. But it is a mandatory part. So you will take an exchange. An exchange also means that you choose a specialization that is relevant to your field of study, but you go a bit more in depth. So let's say if you do international business, you could decide to do a specialization in social media marketing, but you cannot do a specialization in physiotherapy, for instance. You will need to study and get the credits for that semester because they count towards your final degree.
All right. I mean, it makes sense, like once you apply for international business to actually do some international work.
Yeah.
Would be a good idea. You have like pretty strict interview or intake procedure, like that's not pretty normal, or at least we don't have an experience from other Netherlands universities. You do like the interview, you have also like some sort of exam, you have also like you require some sort of like 3-minute long video. Can you tell us more about that? Like, should students worry? Can they get ready for it? Because we have few students that were worried about it. They tried and we got feedback like how easy it was and how cool it was. Like that lady that was talking there was like super nice and like, yeah, friendly. So they had great feeling about it afterwards. But maybe you could tell us more like objective information, what to expect.
Well, it's like I said, it's a mandatory part of the application procedure, but it's not an exam or a selection tool, so to say. It's really meant to help students make the right decision and really think about their decision and why they want to study the program that they've applied for at AVANS. So the first part contains of a few online assignments. It can include indeed recording a video. It can also be a few surveys. It varies from program to program. And then the second part is an interview part, which can be a one-on-one conversation with one of the lecturers in the study program where they just go through either your video, your assignments, your motivation. It's quite an informal chat, but it can also be, for instance, for the business programs, they do a group interview where you need to prepare a short pitch about yourself and your motivation. And it's all done online, but it's actually meant to make you think about your choice, why you want to do it. And based on that information, they give you an advice or recommendation, like we think it's a good match, or maybe we have some doubts, or maybe we think it's the completely wrong choice. Even if that is the case, if they say, well, you should reconsider, it's wise to reconsider because they don't, say it for no reason. But if you are still convinced that this is the right university and the right program for you, you can definitely carry on. So you don't have to be nervous for it, but yeah, you do have to prepare, and you prepare best by just figuring out for yourself why you applied in the first place and what you hope to achieve with the program. And then the lecturer will tell you, this is something that you can work towards do with the program, or maybe, you should shift your expectations slightly. And even if that's the case, you can still decide for yourself if that's okay for you, or that it means that you would need to pursue another type of program or another type of university even.
You mentioned that it's group interview, so it's not only me talking for like 1 hour straight. There are more people probably switching.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah, you start off with a group assignment, so it's also, you know, you get the time to get a little bit acquainted and get used to each other and the dynamic in the group. And then you are asked to do a short pitch one by one. So.
Can you tell us more about the free transportation you offer for students?
Yeah, so if you study in the Netherlands and you apply for this student finance, which you can get if you take on a student job, you can also qualify for a student transportation card. And that means that you can travel for free in public transportation either during the weekend or during the weekdays. So it is connected to having a student job and applying for the student finance. But if you meet all those criteria, you can travel for free across the Netherlands with buses, trains, trams, whatever you want to take. So this question is about the exams. Is it a normal paper exam or is it something else? It varies from quarter to quarter and from course to course. I would say it's quite common that you would have to take a paper exam with cases where you need to elaborate and show that you understand how you can apply different theories or different models to solve a problem. You know, very few times it will happen that you have a multiple choice kind of exam. You have oral exams where you need to give presentations or show your progress in your proficiency in a foreign language. But what is also important is that in every quarter you do a project or central theme that you work on with a few other students. And this is always a big part of your grade and your credits that you will obtain. So it's not only an official or a physical report that you need to submit, but you often also do a final presentation to the lecturer and the rest of the students about how you research the topic, how you came up with the recommendations, what the implications mean for the company or the case. And this is also integrated with the courses that you take. So if you do a project, for instance, on how to sell Dutch cheese in Slovakia, you will have courses related to marketing, supply chain management, finance, stuff like that, that you need to incorporate and apply so that you actually show that you know how to use all that information in such an assignment or business case. Another question I see coming in is about the timing of the examination. So most programs work with a division of years into 4 blocks, and then every block takes 10 weeks. So the first 7-8 weeks you focus on your courses and your project, and then the last 2 weeks are for your exams. And then after that, you move into a new block, you get a new set of courses, you start preparing, work on your project again, 7-8 weeks, and then 2 weeks of exams. However, there are every now and again a few like preliminary assessments incorporated in those blocks.
So Noortje, thank you so much.